continuation of the examination here. Now, here what you have is a problem. This cast iron is showing evidence that it was fractured before, and that the only piece that's fractured now was this silverish part. So when I stepped on this, I stepped on something that had a hairline crack that was not visible while I was doing my examination, and so this was already weakened. Wherever it's brown means it was rusting before I even stepped on it. And this is years of rusting. Only this new silver part was holding it, and when I stepped on it, and I weigh 220 pounds, it basically cracked. So there's not enough support on these cast iron. And as you can see, the bolt is there, but it's gone here. So that's an indication that a lot of these bolts are false. So again, undersized bolts, these should have been 3/8, but they put in these 1/4 inch or 5/16, and then they use spacers to hide the fact that the hole was not the right size. And as you can look up, you can see rust, rust, rust. So every one of these treads, if I was to hammer test, were basically that amount of growth. That 1/4 inch of growth there is already enough to eat that shaft. And so the bolts will just pop out. So that's what happened. I was going up and she gave way. So I'm going to continue with the inspection down here. But basically 10 floors of this, I've got rust in the treads. Look at all that rust there. Look at all that rust. It's eating the channel. So we have to get to this before it finishes eating the rest of this channel all the way through. We got pipes that are rotting inside out. You've got the footings on these things that basically the base plates are all cast. They're all shattered already. They're all no good. So these railings are pre-existing non-conforming. And so most likely we're going to need new rails, keep the stringers, new treads here. And these treads are all going to have to be new galvanized or plain painted steel, depending which way you want to go, but I recommend the galvanized treads that basically are going to be bar grading stock, so the snow will not accumulate on here and it will not rust as quickly. Okay, so you can see all kinds of peeling paint. A lot of times this base has got a lead-based paint to it, so you can't without being an EPA renovator's licensed person, you can't touch and scrape and paint this. The diamond plate seems to be in good order. Only where it's gone into and created what I call a lip over, it's rusting in that joint. So as you can see, wherever it can lip over and not been sealed, it's going to rot. Okay, we have quite a bit happening up above. All your joints, you need to get the steel, change the bolts, remove all the rust, seal the joint with silicone. All the tie-ins into the building, those all have to be done. We have to clean those, seal those, and then seal them to the building so water's not getting in there and pushing it out through freeze and thaw. Look at this. Okay, all that needs to be cleaned. Change the bolts. Any welded connections, you got to pop a bolt through it, so that way we don't have to load test that connection. This welded connection, you got to pop a bolt through it. You got to clean it and you got to pop a bolt to avoid the load test. Any rivets like you have there, those either got to be sistered or you got to clean them out because they're in bad condition. Some of these C channels here, they're rotted all the way through. Look at that side, all the way through, already rotted. This is already rotted through. You're not supposed to have anything that's going to sit in the snow or sit on top of the roof. So you really can't have a base plate like this, because look at all the moss just feeding constant water. This it ate this whole area, so this whole staircase has to get out of here. Look how much rust is in this connection. It's only a matter of time before I can push my finger through the C channel. Here, it's already, look at that. Okay, so this fire escape is in very poor structural condition at this time. Let me see if I can get you a couple of shots with a zoom camera. Actually, before I go there, same thing, coming out this window. It's just resting on the lip there. So this fire escape, let me see if I can lift it. I can't. See, not properly attached. And because it already rotted on the ground, and this, look at all that iron. Look at all the moss around it. It just eats the steel. So look at all that. It ate that. It ate this side. So, and then all these treads. So this is one of those examples of just letting the thing rot because it's not been given the chance. The ladder over here, when we talk about the ladder, you have to be, all fire escapes by code must be to grade. That's part of the building code, that's part of the IFC code. And this ladder is what they basically people would, I think they want people to take it and put it over here to the ground. So we can make this an exit right next to it and use just this space here to create an exit. So we'd have to catwalk the people over here. Once they get to the catwalk, they can go down. Or they can continue over there, and you're gonna need a drawing to show this, and you catwalk out and then go down the side of the building and come out somewhere in one of those parking spaces. Or you can come straight down if that's the case, straight down and end over here. But depending on what's dead space, what's not dead space, what's entryways, what's not entryways, this may be a location for us to come down into this area or not. You can also come around this area and come over here and possibly come out here and go sideways down to that end over there. Again, cage the bottom half so that nobody breaks in. So let's get back to the structure. A lot of rust and corrosion and expansion, rust jacking in the corners. So as you go into a lot of this, the rust jacking is happening in every corner. Okay, you got rust jacking happening, and with the C-channel meets the diamond plate, as you can see there. So a lot of evidence there. Let me see if there's any other treads that have fallen that I can see. But I have plenty of evidence of treads ready to go again. And just on that floor, that tread fell on me just now walking up. So nobody can get on this fire escape as we speak, but you got evidence of rust in every single connection. Every one of those treads is ready to drop. And the problem is when they drop, they're gonna careen. So you need to get somebody in here to basically change all the bolts on this at the time, or already change the treads out. But basically you also need to ping with a hammer test. Actually, there's a missing tread up there. So this is pretty much evident, but every one of these treads, you need to hammer test them in the middle to see if there's any fractures that are being hidden by paint. Because with all these holes in it, that is one of the weakening members of this cast, is that the holes have these hairline fractures that you can't see because of the paint, and you step on it and you fall right through. Every welded connection must be bolted. Every existing square head bolt must be taken out, and you got to put in a new hex head bolt. This fire escape is 50 to 75 years old or older, could be original to the building, and looks like it has no evidence of maintenance. The only maintenance I think occurred here might be the fact that somebody changed out all the tread bolts, but they put in 1/4 inch bolts instead of the standard 3/8 or 1/2 inch as the hole requires. The brackets into the building, they all look pretty good. Looks like somebody's been maintaining the building side of things pretty well. So you're really looking at a full scrape of this fire escape with the EPA renovator's license required in regards to the lead law issue. And then you got the cast treads, all of them. I would take them all out, and I would put all brand new galvanized stair grading treads. The superstructure looks in good order. Just every joint needs to be opened, cleansed, and then it needs to be put back and sealed. The railing, 100% of this railing is going to get changed out, because this you can't verify, and from what I've seen on the inside of all these pipes, water has gotten into these. And they're pre-existing non-conforming anyway, meaning that should you trip or fall, you could easily fall through this 2-line rail, and it should be minimally a 3 or 4-line rail if we're going to meet the code of the day. Or now they may want us to go with 4-inch spacing on that, or mesh, or wire with 4-inch square all the way on this to basically meet the code. So we can possibly get this look again with new pipe, and then mesh it on the inside so that nobody can fall through or pass through. Okay, so catwalk from there, catwalk from here, coming down to here, picking this up, and one of the possible locations to basically turn and go down with the system. We can also come out of there, turn the corner, go down. It needs a drawing, so this is going to need a drawing. Definitely going to need engineer oversight on this to basically draw the plan. Plan A is to spot repair only what needs to be redone, leave behind what's in fair to good condition as far as structural bolts, and then we proceed immediately to a load test on this fire escape system. Option 3, to avoid the load test in its entirety, 100% refurbishment of all the connections, 100%, seal every joint, verify the connections into the building, or duplicate them with new epoxy bolts as basically putting suspenders on a belt. And then the railing and the treads are going to be swapped out on that. So that is going to need further investigation. This is just the examination, but now we need to get into engineer oversight and additional visits and drawings to show the city official how we're going to get to the ground. And again, ladders are not allowed as per the IFC code. Over 10 people in a building, you must conclude in a full staircase to the ground or a cantilevered stair to the ground, but never a ladder. So this is not allowed. Liability is too strong, too high. Any questions? Farscape Engineers, inspect the summary video. This is a Cisco 866-649-0333, 866-649-0333.